December 14th, 2018. The day Dragon Ball Super Broly was released into theaters in Japan. This is the first time we'd get to see the canon versions of some of the biggest and most beloved characters within the entire Dragon Ball series, Broly and Gogeta. Obviously, they weren't the original characters from Z, but it was pretty interesting to see the two in their official roles in the story. But what if they were the original characters from Z? I'm talking about Gogeta from the Fusion Reborn movie versus Broly from the legendary Super Saiyan Dragon Ball Z movie. Also, before the video starts, be sure to like and subscribe. It's free and you can always unsubscribe if you feel the need to at a later time. Enjoy the video. Firstly, it's probably clear that scaling characters based on inverse logic is not a viable option, pretty much just due to the explicit statements made by Toriyama, where he pretty much just says that the events in the Dragon Ball Z movies occur in a separate dimension, which means that comparing the strength of characters based on their relative power levels becomes ambiguous and practically meaningless. Simply put, claiming that one character is stronger than another character in the movie universe based on scaling from a different dimension, and you'd pretty much just be taking a bite out of a big ol' nothing burger. So I'll try to limit myself to inverse scaling. One thing that's important to note here is the fact that Broly is actually like dummy OP. And I don't say that like him being strong within the movie he's presented in. What I'm discussing is the fact that Broly could potentially just be the most powerful villain in all of the Dragon Ball Z movies. In a weakened state, not even his strongest Super Saiyan form, he was able to obliterate multiple portions of the South Galaxy that was not just limited to a single galaxy, but rather a galaxy cluster, which is composed of an incredibly vast number of galaxies, possibly even infinite in number. This is because the living world itself is considered to be infinite and contains an infinite number of galaxies, all of which are made up of countless nebulae or solar systems. Additionally, Broly is frequently referred to as a universal threat, meaning that he has the potential to cause destruction on a cosmic scale. It's worth noting that despite being incredibly powerful, to clarify, I am not referring to Broly's ability to destroy the entire universe with a single attack, but his potential to gradually wipe it out over time. This feat alone would require an immense amount of power, possibly on the scale of multiple galaxies. Even if we assume it would take Broly 50 years to accomplish it, it would still be an incredibly impressive accomplishment. It's important to note that the discussion is based solely on Broly's power level in the first movie. In the second coming, known as the Second Coming, Broly received a Zenkai boost that allowed him to keep up with an alternate version of Gohan, who had extensively trained throughout the 7-year gap between the Cell and Boost sagas. And finally, this motherfucker got even stronger within the Bio Broly movie, as much as I hate to admit it, as he was pretty much just biologically enhanced in every way, aside from his badassness. So in the Dragon Ball movies, there are a couple of versions of Broly that show up, and there's a pretty strong argument to be made that both of these versions of Broly are incredibly fast. The reason for this is the fact that there's a scene in one of the movies where an enemy named Metal Cooler catches Goku in the middle of his instant transmission. Instant transmission is a move where Goku can instantly teleport himself to another location, almost like he's blinking out of existence and reappearing somewhere. That means Metal Cooler was able to move so fast that not only could he keep up with Goku's instant transmission, but actually outperformed it in every regard, and literally moving beyond linear time. Now, this is where it gets both Broly and Gogeta have access to levels of speed that are far beyond anything we've seen in the Dragon Ball franchise so far. This is because they would upscale from feats like Metal Cooler catching Goku in the middle of his instant transmission. Basically, if we assume that all the Dragon Ball movies take place in the same alternate dimension, then we can use events from different movies to estimate the power levels of different characters. And if we do that, it seems like both Broly and Gogeta could just have inaccessible speeds, and obviously be even faster than the likes of Metal Cooler. Broly would 100% scale to this, as there's a direct statement from Koyama where he says that each villain Goku faces within each movie is superior to the one previous. Regardless of whether you believe this to be random banter, both Broly and Gogeta should both upscale from Cooler's feat. Earlier movie feats of Cooler moving faster than linear time. Based on the feats depicted in the Dragon Ball Z movies, it's clear that Gogeta would ultimately emerge as the most powerful character in terms of raw strength. He would outmatch Broly in terms of attack potency, which is a measure of his ability to inflict damage. However, if we consider these statements made by Koyama, the writer of both Fusion Reborn and the legendary Super Saiyan movies, he actually believes that Broly is the strongest character in the entire Dragon Ball Z series, including all 13 movies and the Buu Saga. Koyama has expressed his view on Twitter, and he believes that Broly could defeat all the other characters in the series single-handedly. However, Koyama's claim that Broly is the strongest character in the series is contradicted by his own statement that Broly's power is comparable to that of Buu. Since Gogeta was able to defeat Janemba with ease, it's safe to say that he would easily defeat Broly as well, if we consider Koyama's statement about Broly's power level. However, if we focus only on Koyama's initial claim that Broly is the strongest villain in the Dragon Ball Z series, then it's possible Broly would emerge victorious in a battle against Gogeta. In addition to Koyama's statements, there are other sources that claim Broly is the strongest character in Dragon Ball Z. For example, a French magazine dedicated to Dragon Ball Z has declared that Broly is indeed the most powerful character in the series. However, the magazine's claim they defeat Super Saiyan 4 Goku, which is a highly questionable claim. Super Saiyan 4 being Goku's strongest form in the events of GT. So, unless you think Broly would just actually run Super Saiyan 4 Goku's pockets, then maybe, who knows? While there are statements pointing towards Broly winning this fight, there is also statements with the backed up evidence of feats, backing up the fact that Goku's value, Broly would slam. If you take the most consistent statements and feats, then Gogeta would slam. Oh, and also, let me know which video